Hello, everyone. I'm back for the most part. As some who watch my channel might already know, my mother passed away. She passed away 11 days now due to complications from Alzheimer's. Back in September of 2017, I released a video where I spoke a little bit about Alzheimer's and what it was like and how to deal with it. And I never really stopped getting letters and messages from people who had Alzheimer's touch them and their families as well. And because this has been something that has been on my mind for a very long time, and apparently has been on the minds of other people for a very long time, I thought that I would, coming back from this event and making videos, I would touch on this one more time before getting back to regular content. I'm not really even sure necessarily what I want to say. I know that I want to be mad or I want to be sad. I want to have a very strong, visceral, emotional reaction to this. I'm desperate for it, but it's just not there. It's not. I feel tapped out. I feel empty. I feel like the wellspring of emotion that I should feel for this entire situation has been running dry for so goddamn long that I just can't feel anything, at least not for a while. Alzheimer's it's a bitch of a disease. It is. You think about it in the scope of what it does. Slowly but surely eroding away bits of who you are, your brain matter, as these plaques and tangles grow and form inside of your brain. While this happens, all these little pieces that made you who you are, they just go away. And when you're watching somebody going through terminal stage Alzheimer's and you just look at them, you want to have this hope. They're in there somewhere. The person that I knew, the person that I grew up, or in my case, the person who raised me, who gave birth to me, she's still in there. But they're not. Only pieces, only splinters, fractures, echoes. An echo of who that person once was is still there. It's whatever is left that hasn't been completely destroyed by this horrifying disease. You want to tell yourself all these little lies of comfort that are going to make it somehow easier, but it's not easier, and it's false hope. That's the thing that's so nefarious about it too. When you're dealing with somebody who has terminal Alzheimer's, like this is them on that final track of Alzheimer's, you have to understand that they will never get better. They'll never ever get better, and in fact, they're going to get worse. They will always get worse until they don't get anything anymore because they're gone. Now, I haven't dealt with this too terribly well in the past. I think now, especially the past 2 months or so, leading up to this, because I knew it wasn't going to be long. I knew it wasn't going to take too long. In fact, it happened even faster than I thought. I was imagining it would probably be sometime in July or August that my mom would pass away. But I handled it better the closer it got, because there was a finality to it. There was this acceptance, because you don't have any other choices. Like, it's happening, you know. And you get all your grief out while you can, And then when it happens, you deal with it how you have to deal with it. At least that's how it happened for me. I've had a lot of people die in my life. A lot of friends taken too soon. Some through their own choices, through suicide. Some through their own choices, through drug addiction. I've had friends who are very young taken from us by accidents. I've had a lot of family members pass away. Been to a lot of funerals. Buried a lot of family and a lot of friends. I just feel so... I feel like I've been cheated. I feel like this is the one that I really should have been able to just gush and turn into a big sobbing mess. Now, don't get me wrong, this does affect me. My brain, it feels like it's firing on half of its cylinders. But that release, that visceral release, I think we misunderstand how grief works and how beneficial an emotional outburst can really be. A genuine emotional outburst. Not the kind that somebody is like, "Oh Lord, please save me," on Facebook and fake crying on a Instagram live video or some shit like that. Nah, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, really just breaking down. Letting yourself break down for a while. There's such a value in that. And whether it's through societal conditioning, whether it's because I've got such a callous over this kind of thing, whether it's because I prepared myself early for this or not, I can't get that. I feel robbed. I feel robbed of the fact that I can't turn into a big blubbery fucking mess. It's not fair. Now, the other part about this that really bothers me, and it's probably the part that is the most selfish, but also the most horrifying, is the only way I could be in a higher risk bracket for Alzheimer's is if I was female. It's 2/3 women to 1/3 men. They're not really sure why that is. But aside from the gender disparity, I am in the highest risk bracket for developing Alzheimer's, and that horrifies the fuck out of me. I watched my grandfather go through it, and then I watched my mom go through it, and they went through it the same exact way. Oh, they're just a little goofy. They're just a little Mr. Magoo-ish. I'm already a little bit Mr. Magoo-ish. I'm already a very forgetful person. I know that's me just kind of projecting my panic, but you know, and then they can't remember really specific things, and then everything starts to devolve. And then how they went was exactly the same too. They fell. My grandfather fell, and within a week he was dead. And then my mom fell, and within a week she was dead. That's just how it happens, apparently, in my family. Get Alzheimer's, it stretches out for about 7 years, and one day you just fall over, and you never really get back up. So I'm horrified by this. I'm terrified by the concept. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, too, who are living with the consequences of our DNA, our genomes. No. There are a lot of people dealing with and living with the potential threat, the looming darkness of potential Alzheimer's, or maybe you're currently caring for somebody who does have Alzheimer's. And we naturally project ourselves onto people we see who are suffering. I do have some good news. Recently, there have been studies. I'll link a couple of interesting links in the description of this video. There are some interesting studies where they might have actually developed something of an Alzheimer's vaccine that will help prevent the plaques and tangles from ever forming, in which case you won't really develop the disease. That's really good news. There's been all sorts of experimental things that they've been working on the past 2 years. Sadly, none of them could save my mom. And more than likely, I'll be realistic with you, more than likely, none of these will be able to save somebody who is in middle to late stage Alzheimer's. Probably not. But for the future, at least there's that. And I think that this is really important. Alzheimer's is one of the most devastating things, not only to a family, but also in a way to our country. Memory care facilities can run anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a month. That's a lot of goddamn money. And some people end up in there for 15 years, 20 years. Imagine how much that's an insane amount of money. Insane. Because it requires specialty care. It requires a lot of staff who really know what they're doing, know how to administer meds on time, know how to care for these people. And in the future, if we can develop our biomedical technology so that nobody has to suffer this again, I'm all for it. My mom was a really good woman. She was a really good mother. She did her best with an obnoxious, spoiled brat like me. I was a little jerk growing up. And she was always patient. She was always patient. She was always kind. She had motherly instincts all the way from back when she was the eldest kid of 4 children, her and 3 little brothers. She took care of them. And then she took care of me. She was a good woman. And she always cared for and loved everybody else. At the end of the day, when we die, we should be able to look back on our lives and say, I did a good job. That should be our bare minimum. My mom did a fantastic job. And I will miss her. For my family, which is admittedly a little bit smaller this month, to yours, take care of yourself, and I hope you're well. I'll see you guys next time.